People over parking. So we're here today in a parking garage at a residential building in Williamsburg, and as part of Open House New York weekend, where people can go into interesting spaces, we have set up a studio apartment and 2 parking spaces. We're here today as part of our campaign to lift parking mandates in New York City to demonstrate visually and viscerally the trade-off we're making when we build parking instead of homes for people.
Parking mandates require that buildings include space for cars, whether or not anyone has asked for it or shown any demand. And that's a problem because it raises the cost of buildings significantly. It even stops some housing, especially affordable housing, from being built at all.
Oh, I think it's so important to have more housing in New York. I think there should be less reliance on cars, especially in this city where there's such great public transit.
This is definitely the size of my first apartment in New York, and it would be awesome to see more space for people to walk and live and less space dedicated to cars.
The cost of building 2 parking spaces is about the cost of building a studio apartment. So again, that's a direct trade-off, parking versus homes.
Another reason that it's important to us that we lift parking mandates is because it encourages car ownership. When there's a parking spot available to a building resident, they may buy a car that they would not have otherwise. And so what ends up happening is that these lots fill up, and then our streets are congested, our streets are less safer, there's more pollution in our air, all because we are telling people that having a car is a convenient thing to do in these buildings.
I live in Midtown and I pay for $500 for a parking space when my rent is way more than that, and for the same size as 2 parking spaces. So it's pretty cool to see an apartment my size can be what I pay for my car, I guess.
I could imagine this would be maybe reasonable rent, but this is just space for cars, and we're right next to 2 subway lines.
So parking mandates were put into zoning codes all over the country in the 50s and 60s. We've seen obviously over the last 60 years, they are living in a car-dependent society that's contributing to climate change and many other harms, especially in cities. After 2 years of heavy campaigning, we were super excited to see Mayor Adams announce that in his City of Yes Zoning for Housing Opportunity text amendment, they propose to lift parking mandates citywide. We still have to go through the review process, but we're really, really hoping that we will get this full reform done.